Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Or the nut house, or whatever you want to call it.
I was just sitting here thinking that it's too bad we can't do the show before the show. Because
The show before the show?
Well, yeah, the talking that we've been doing for the last half an hour or 45 minutes, it's like that's almost a show in itself.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true. Yeah, Dennis has military obligation today or this weekend. And Shannon had to get to bed early for getting up early in the morning. So he's not going to be here, but we got Jerry and Bill and Steve and I, and we'll sufficiently bore you, I'm sure.
And I've got a dead tablet, so I can't watch chat. I can't look at anything. So
you can't look at anything.
I can't look at anything except for you guys. Nope. So
so you're going to make me go over the rundown here, huh?
I'm going to
say hello to everybody. Well, let's see here. Allie's here. Rob T-Man's here. John with Schuylkill River Valley's here. Good morning, John. And Bernard's here. Good to see Bernard. Who else is here? Let's see. Grandpa Rails is here. Good morning, John. Dave BNSF Hscale's here. DES Media Productions. Al Mar's here.
Sounds like we got all the regular crew.
All the regular people are here for sure.
Did you say Allie?
Yeah, Allie was first one I said. She's always first one in. So good to see everybody this morning. And
hello.
As usual, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but
Good morning, everybody.
we never
know. We never know, but there's always something to talk about. So
well, there's always Bill. We always get the update before the update.
yeah.
Bill will keep us.
Well, and Steve didn't tell Bill and Jerry, but he's beside himself with his train right now. So
yeah, I got my first shipment from Loco Parts, and I'm already seeing problems that I'm going to have to address. So engineering issues. So,
but I told him too. I said if his train's not running by the time I get up there, it won't be the low point of my trip, because we've already had 3 different things that I have to change. One of them's because we're taking the dogs with us. The other ones are because of summer. I don't know what you want to say. Summer travel by a lot of the country. So. Places that we didn't get reservations for that I thought we didn't need reservation for, like going on a road. They've got some places where you have to have a pass to get on the road. They only give out so many. So I didn't know about that until it was too late. And then some other places that are just too crowded and they use shuttle buses, and we can't take the dogs on the shuttle bus. So we're going to miss out some of that stuff, but it's not hugely terrible. Mm-hmm. And, so if Steve's train's not running by the time I get there, it won't be the worst thing.
Well, it probably will be, but
it will be for you, not for me.
Well, this is why I wanted to get my plumbing on the locomotive done in the beginning. I mean, I started the ordering of all the parts, back in, I think it was October, November last year, in hopes of getting this stuff so that I could get the locomotive up and running and then do the train. I had no idea I would get everything done and still be waiting on, the plumbing issues. And because I know I knew there was going to be issues with it. There's too much stuff. And this is a tiny locomotive to try to fit stuff on it. And one of them is, and I was telling Claude this, is the mechanical lubricator. And this thing is like, I don't want to drop it because it's like a Swiss watch. This is an oil reservoir that you put steam oil. It's 600 weight heavy oil that doesn't break down with the steam. And this little lever will move back and forth with each rotation of the driver, which will connect with the slide for the valves on the steam chest. And The problem is the size of this thing. And where are you going to put it on this little tiny locomotive? If you've got a big Pacific or something, this isn't an issue. But with this little guy, there's very few places to actually be able to fit it and still have this lever connect with the slide. I'm thinking something along this line under the cab, but it just clears the side rods of the drivers, and I've still got the piping. So that's just the lubricator. And then he sent me the wrong check valve. I got the check valves, but I needed a different connector that he sent me. So now I've got to send that back. And, so that it's just trying to fit everything in this, with the cab, the whistle. I got the whistle valve. Here, I'll show you. Got this.
Yeah.
Got a whistle valve and the brake stand. Okay. And, where do you got to fit all this plumbing and piping in and around under the running boards for the brakes. So that, there's a lot of engineering that's going to have to be going with this that I don't know. So I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of people, and I'm running out of time. The triennial's the end of June, and, so we're looking at, less than 2 months, and that's not a lot of time to work out bugs on this.
Are you ready
running
to
is
power
fine,
it up?
but by June, I don't know if I'm going to meet that deadline. I'm
Are
hoping.
you ready to power it?
Say again, Jerry?
Can you power it up yet or no?
It runs on air. I mean, I can, connect a compressor to it and it runs. But
What do you got to do your gas?
what's that?
What do you got to do to hook up your gas? Or are you?
Oh, the gas is done. No, that's the propane's, the burner, everything is ready to go. It's all the brake stand for the vacuum brakes and all the plumbing that goes with that. The blower that runs through the smoke box to get a draft to the stack. That's all got to be done.
To get
the
it
plumbing
started.
for the whistle. The whistle's mounted on the other side, but that's got to be connected up to the to the manifold with all the valves that he's still machining.
Oh,
and
so you're
then-
still waiting for machining parts. God bless you, Bill.
Yeah, and then the injectors. So there's 5 more components on this locomotive, and each one is going to have its own issue.
So
But Steve, don't you have the peanut whistle on top, right?
I got
on steam dome.
I got the peanut whistle.
Could you not get by with that at first?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So that's one part you don't have to have right now.
No.
So well, that helps, but yeah, you still got to have that.
But
lubricator,
I've also
though.
got to be able to plan all the piping to that while I'm running the lines for the injector, the brakes. I mean, all this stuff has to be engineered. I can't get everything done and go, okay, now I'm going to do the whistle, and now where am I going to run those lines and the valves? And I was told that the cab is going to get very small, and it's already small. So by the time you stick all these little tiny valves, up in here, run all the tubing and piping around, and it's going to look like a spaghetti mess.
So I'm watching that, and Nathan had a question. Is this steam engine representing the locomotive from the Golden Spike?
No, it doesn't represent really anything, but it's very similar.
Were those Americans or were they 10-wheelers?
They're Americans.
Were they?
Yeah, you had I believe it was the Jupiter and the 119. And I think this is probably closer to the Jupiter. I think the 119 had a straight stack. The Jupiter had the diamond stack. But it's probably closer to that. But yeah, it's an 1860s, mid 1800s locomotive. And try to keep it as prototypical as possible, with all the mechanical appliances that you actually have to have on it to use it and run it. it's not going to look particularly prototypical. I mean, you're not, having the big old lubricator on the side, that's, and the whistle on the other side. So it's not going to be, exactly prototypical.
Bernard says, "Gee, Steve, everyone's whopping on something that's waiting on parts." Well, it seems like it anymore, doesn't it? Yeah. Everybody's waiting on something to show up.
But no, I'll get it done. But I don't know if I'll make it by my deadline. That's
Yeah.
the issue.
So what's your plan?
Like I say, it's not going to be the low point of our trip.
You got
because just being there and getting to go to Train Mountain and seeing Train Mountain itself and getting to see you in person and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
overshadow the train and I just want to see it in person.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even matter to me if it's running or not. I just want to see it in person.
If you don't get this running, will you still take it to Train Mountain?
Yeah. I'll still go. It'll be a static display, but it'll come.
Okay.
We did that a lot with airplanes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't running or you had something that wasn't finished on it and you wouldn't put it in the air because of that, then we still took it because you still had a good looking model that people wanted to see.
And there's guys that do that. They go to these big meets and they'll bring something they're working on that's not running. I remember years ago down in Sacramento, this guy brought a chassis for a big boy, and that was impressive. And it wasn't anywhere close to being done, but he brought it down so people could see it.
Wow, I can't imagine what a big boy would look like.
Oh God, that's insane. That's basically making 2 484s. And just one of those is a massive project. But that's why there's so few of those that are actually out running.
No, we haven't, Allie. We've only talked online. But that's going to change. That'll change in at the end of June.
So, Claude, you're going to go up there for the annual?
No, I'm going to be there just after it's finished, but there are probably, like Steve said, there'll probably be a lot of people still there.
Yeah, there should be.
But I didn't want to be there with so many people there that you couldn't really get around, because I've seen videos of the triannual and it's very busy.
It's crazy. I've only made one of them, and I've been to Train Mountain quite a few times and one triennial, and there's a huge difference. You stick. Right now they've got, I think, over 400 trains.
Are there videos on YouTube about it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I have to check them out.
Yeah, just look up Train Mountain Triennial and you'll see all kinds of stuff. But I mean, there's hundreds of locomotives. I mean, Train Mountain's a big place. There's tracks everywhere, and at the Triennial, every one of them has a train in it. I just blew my mind that there was that many people that would come there and bring their stuff.
Yeah, look up Train Mountain, and they have a one of the pages on their website is the map of the place, and look at that and you see how many tracks there are.
If you Google the 2018 Triennial, that was the one that I went to.
Okay.
And that I had my my switcher for that one that hadn't been painted yet, so it was gray, and in primer. But that was the only. So it never made it up there actually painted and finished for a triennial. I only got it up there twice, running it after I got it painted.
I'm curious. Anybody in chat? I'm watching chat and I can't type in chat where I'm watching it. Is anybody in chat going to this triannual thing? Because CDP
I think Chuck's planning on being there.
So Chuck's going to go there. How about
Chuck's
Steve
87? I'm hoping Bernard's coming. Are you coming, Bernard? He's not terribly far away. He's a lot closer than I am. So I'm hoping Bernard comes, but I know Chuck said he's going to be there, or going to try and be there anyway. I don't know if anybody else is coming or not.
Yeah, Chuck's a couple hours away from Triennial. I think he's 3 hours.
How far are you, Steve? 4?
2.
2. You're close too.
Yeah, I'm pretty close.
I'm a couple of days.
Yeah,
a couple 3 days away. But yeah, it's
Digger wants to go, but he don't think he can make it.
Bernard says he's been trying and it's looking better. So good. I hope you can make it.
Yeah,
That'd be a blast. And of course, Tim will be there, Steve's friend, and that'll be good too because he'll have his there.
Yeah, he's got his tender done.
Well, Steve, if nothing else, if you can get it painted and go in front of Tim, he can push it.
I told him that. He laughed. He said, I probably would have a hard time pushing you and pulling me too. Because he's just got that little mogul, and he's had slipping issues on that steel rail too.
Has he?
Yeah, but if this was running and we were double heading, we wouldn't have an issue. But him actually just pushing me, if I didn't, if it was not running and he was just pushing me, I don't think he could do it because he's got a pretty big. And Tim's a big boy, So.
Yeah. Well, Tim and I are probably close in size.
Actually, I think you're bigger.
Well, I'm 6'2", but
that's what I mean. Tim's not that tall. He's not as tall as you are.
He's got a lower center of gravity.
Yeah.
I played golf in the wind yesterday, and one of the guys is real skinny, and he was having trouble keeping his balance because it was blowing about 30 miles an hour yesterday. And I said, man, you just got to get a lower center of gravity.
Yeah.
Drink some beer and get a lower center of gravity.
Well, he's got his tender done, and he's going to be doing a test here pretty quick. And he painted his caboose, and so it's blue now. And he's going with the same colors of the Oregon Coast Scenic. It's actually very similar to the blue that's on here. And that's the color they paint their equipment up there. And, he's I don't know if anybody knew, but he got hired on full time with the Oregon Coast Scenic, and he's going to be a qualified engineer up there this next season. He's been firing on it for about a year and a half, and he got his notice that he's going to be taking his engineer's test, his qualifying. So he's going to actually be running up there. So that's
cool. Tourist railroad.
What's that?
Tourist railroad.
Yeah. It's the Oregon Coast Scenic. It's up in northwest Oregon, up along the coast. They've got about 15 or 20 miles of track that they run right along the ocean. It's really pretty.
Does it run year round?
No, just in the
summer months.
Summer months.
Okay.
I think they start running up here in another month, I think.
Now, where you guys are, do you get much snow?
No.
Okay.
Very rarely. Used to. They used to get a lot of snow here. But we don't.
Hey, Anthony just got here with the Georgia Sunbelt.
Hi, Anthony.
Good to see you, Anthony.
Nice to see you, Anthony. You're making breakfast for all of us, right?
Yeah, really. Get that out ASAP, man.
I'm kind of hungry.
I'm hungry.
So, Bill, what are you up to? You got to give us an advanced look at what you're going to post later.
I can give you a sneak peek here. Let me grab the phone.
This is one of my favorite parts now of the show.
Oh, this is mine
too. To see the new stuff Bill's put up.
You got to grab the popcorn.
It's like a preview.
So like we were talking earlier, waiting on materials. So this week I haven't gotten a tremendous amount done. I ran out of pink foam board, and Home Depot didn't have any, but finally that came in. I ran out of Sculpt-A-Mold, ordered that, and that finally came in actually yesterday. I did a lot last night, so I've been working on this side of the layout more. So I've been starting to get the scenery, the rock face in on the what I call the left side module.
So last week that wasn't even done.
Nope.
No, I hadn't done anything. So I put the plaster on and put Sculpt-A-Mold on last night, did the carving last night. This morning, actually, before the show, I got out my wood stain and stained it. But, it's coming together. So it's kind of like on the other, this right here, this is the seam between the two sections of the layout. And I did have this apart already so that I could make sure that I didn't glue myself together when I added Sculptamold and other things in this crevasse. So this area is going to be similar to what I did over there in that I will have some materials glued on each side to hide the seam. There'll be a lot more tree material in here and ground cover that'll hide this, but still make it so I can take the layouts apart without having problems. A lot of trees will go in along in here. You know, a lot of trees up here. I did get an eBay purchase in, so there's going to be some mash being made up here. Backwoods guy.
That has become my favorite place on the railroad now.
Yeah.
So somewhere in here, probably nestled down a little bit, is where that's going to end up going. But I got to build and put the pink foam board in over there yet. A couple of other things that I've done is I built these trees this week. So these are big deciduous trees, and I don't know how good they're coming through on the video, but that's using the same method that I build the pine trees. So this is the grapevine wire that I get from Hobby Lobby. So just build up in many, many layers to get the trunks and the armatures. And then again, grapevine wire trunks on these, and then super tree material put on using heat shrink tubing that connects the super tree material to the armatures. And then I started to hide the portal, and I've got more trees that I'm going to be putting in from here and here to hide this even more. But on the other side, I do have the scenery done. If you are able to see underneath at some point from some direction, you're going to see a continuity of the scenery. And I'll bring you over here to show you how I did that. So this I used commercial materials, and you can see it's going to be hidden. I will glue that on at some point when I get all the rest of this done. So this will never see the light of day. But if you can see through that portal in any shape, way, or form, given whatever lighting conditions it's going to be in, you're going to be able to see it. So this is what I did for under here. So that if you can see through that portal in any angle, you're seeing completed scenery.
Wow.
And that's all going to be just hidden and in the dark. And that's the only area that I'll do that. But then the rest of this will all be underneath. And then when I come over to here later, this will be a tunnel portal. You know, there's not many tunnel portals on logging layouts, but this will have one where it has to just kind of disappear, just the geometry of the track. I couldn't come up with a realistic way to do the scenery to make it look good and realistic. So a tunnel portal. Mm-hmm. And I may add a tunnel portal or two here. I'm going to play with it a little bit to make like a big rocky knoll coming up. Just add a little interest going around the corner so that the train's coming in, hits a short tunnel portal, and then comes out right here. Just something that's massive that a railroad would have been more likely to go through rather than to try to knock it down. So I'll play with that a little bit, but everything else up here is going to be covered with ground cover, and it's going to end up being as thick a forest as what that is. You know, I've got a lot of trees that are in the process of being built. So, you know, there's going to be at least probably 200 trees added to just this part of the layout. Ultimately, get done with it. Man. Then I'll add a little culvert. Little culvert's going to go here. I'll just use some the tree twigs to make it look like again trunks laid down. A little bit of build up with like trunk materials here. Just an old style logging road bridge, so I didn't have to cut any of my sub road bed. And I'll hide this little gorge over here just with a lot of tree material so that I don't need to cut this any, just kind of blend it in. So having some fun. This used some acrylic paints to kind of paint it up, to kind of blend it a little bit. And then again, the same colors of stains, a little bit different contours on different sides and colors, but it's all mostly going to be hidden, just like, just like on this side of it.
I have
what I've been up to.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you know how many trees you already have on your layout right now?
Right now, I am at least 150. So that includes the ones on the other side and does not include store-bought. Like this little cluster of small trees is JTT, But all of the super tree stuff I've made, so that's at least 150 trees.
The trees you made, yeah, 150.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Bill, Steve Anderson says he needs to kidnap you for 2 weeks and lock you in his train room. Because it'd be great to see what's done after that.
If I had 2 weeks straight and all the materials, I could probably get a fair amount done.
Wow.
Yeah, you work pretty fast, that's for sure.
Well, actually, we were talking before the show. You know, I just an hour here, an hour there. Weekends, maybe a half hour. And I don't know if I've lost my video.
Nope. Oh, he has now.
Now we lost you.
You still there?
I'm still here. I just couldn't see it. I had something for my screen, and now I don't have any of the.
You're good.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Well, I actually showed my wife. I think it was the first video you did where you were showing how you're doing the cut throughs through the backdrop, because I wanted to show her how you had figured out how to do that without tunnel portals. And she was duly impressed. She likes the scenery part of what I do. She does the train part she could care less about, but the scenery stuff she likes. She really was impressed with that.
Well, thank her very much. I appreciate that.
Will do.
And it's like for me too. I like the scenery stuff. You know, you guys have seen all of my layouts. You know, I got the HO is dedicated 100% for switching, and it's fun. The Hscale is for running and a little switching. This is 100% for running with very minor switching, simply because, again, I'm hoping retirement, take it to shows, have some fun, just hook it up, turn it on, let it go, and let it go through some fun scenery.
Yeah, I'd love to see that in person too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try and catch up with chat since Steve's not watching.
I can't watch. It's going to be fun watching you try to move that, Bill.
Oh, it'll be easy. It's not heavy. It's a two-person job. I've already got it figured out how to move it. So it's going to be using, actually, instead of grabbing and lifting, it's going to be using some ropes and broomsticks, essentially. Mm-hmm. Where two ropes, one going underneath, where it's going to go underneath the casters on each side. It's going to come up on, and then into like a handle so that two guys can not just sort of lift it, sort of like what they do with carrying appliances. You've seen how guys use those
slings. Yeah,
using a sling for that. And then I'll have like one brace that I'll make that'll just go into place where I've got like the opening in the bench work so that I don't sort of crunch it, but I've got a brace that just kind of keeps everything locked in place. These aren't heavy. I can still move this entire layout with one hand. I have to work a little bit, but it's movable with one hand yet. It's not that heavy.
Yeah.
I love how you
did
the seams in it.
Say what?
I really like how you did this. The seams where you joined it together. You can't even see it.
Yeah, that's the whole intent. You know, you'll be able to know what to look for. But
yeah, I've got the same thing. I've got one lift out spot, and that's what's going to happen around the seam of that. It's going to have a lot of vegetation and stuff to kind of hide it. Although mine's in a place kind of in the corner, so it's not someplace it's going to be right out in the middle that you'll see easily. But Nathan DeLay had a question. He said, when you make a backdrop with trees, do you put your biggest locomotive so that it can fit through the backdrop so that all your locomotives can fit through that seam?
Yes. Essentially, yeah. I put it in with what I would figure would be the biggest locomotive, and then I added extra space about a half inch on each side. Again, coming through a portal at an angle, it's different than going straight on. So you have to actually make it bigger because of just the geometry of how the train goes through it. So the portals are all oversized relative to the train. Plus, if you make it bigger, it gives you the opportunity to hide it better, actually, because then you can use trees and other things to kind of go over the portal, but still sort of see through it. It's not like the train's going through a very narrow space and you can't see beyond it. So it adds to that visual illusion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just really cool how you did that. And it looks really good too. I mean, it worked out so well.
Yeah. I wasn't sure it was going to work at the start. I had plan B in place that, that backdrop could come off if I got to the point that's like, it wasn't going to work. I could go just to kind of build up ridges a little higher and try to add a block, but it's actually worked out pretty well.
Well, okay, so are you like me? You're laying in bed and you're thinking about the layout and what you want to do on it, and you come up with an idea, going, "Oh, that's going to be great," and then you get out there and you go, "That's not going to work at all."
Yeah, that's happened before, and you see that in some of the videos. I kind of talk, I talk through what I'm planning on doing in the future as I'm walking through what I'm working on. And you'll notice that in a lot of videos, I'm talking about something, and then it never happens later because I get into it and it's like, no, that ain't gonna work, or it's not gonna look good.
I did that with the bridge on the front of my mountain. I was thinking, I came up with this thing in my head that I could cantilever the bridge off the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
And I got out to the layout and I'm going, that won't even work on a model, much less in real life, So, yeah, I did that a couple of times, thinking it was going to be nice or really cool looking, and then get out there and go, there's no way that's going to work.
The imagination
happens to me all the time.
Imagination can come up with some really cool stuff, but then the reality sets in. Is like, no.
That's why I start with a basic track plan and an idea in my head, and I build as I go. And that's for me, that works much, much better.
Yeah, that's what I did on the HO and the Hscale. There's no track plan. I never put anything to paper. I had stuff, and I just got some pink foam board, laid it down on the space that I knew I had, and then started playing with it, and then thinking what I wanted. Like the HO switching layout, I've got 42 switches in a 4x16 foot area, simply because I knew I wanted complicated track work. I wanted crossovers. I wanted all kinds of things, but I didn't want to have a train chase its caboose in that one. And then the Hscale, same thing, 3 feet by 15 feet. I wanted it to chase its caboose because in Hscale, it won't. So I can run 2 trains on the Hscale, running through mountain scenery, doing some switching. I can have some fun with that. But again, I never created a track plan. I just put down stuff knowing that I wanted a double loop main line and some switching. And then I went from there.
So no track plans for any of your layouts?
This one for the Oscale, I did kind of come up with a little sketch. And I think that was in one of the first videos of just what I was going to do. And it's actually held fairly true to that. And simply because I was using Oscale sectional track, I wanted to kind of figure out how I wanted it to work, because I've got that little hidden staging yard, 2-track underneath. So I needed to make sure that it worked with how I wanted to have the bench work. So I kind of drew that out, and then just some rough sketch for what I was going to do for the ON30. So this one is actually the closest to actually having a track plan of any of my layouts.
When you first started the Oscale, I thought you were out of your mind.
So did my wife.
Oh my God, he's great, but it's turning out absolutely spectacular.
I still think you got her tied up in the basement or something.
Yeah.
Well, again, if I'm not in the house, I'm in the garage or the yard.
Yeah. So there's something they like about that.
Yeah, there's no real complaints about it. It's occasionally open the door, dinner's ready, or supper's ready, or get your what in the house. But she knows where I'm at.
Yeah, Bernard says, Bill, it's been fun, educational, and amazing to see how fast you've got.
I agree.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's the sentiment of pretty much everybody on here.
Well, again, we were talking about it, again before the pre-show, like Jerry, you said, it's those are fun ones too. Is that it's just a little bit of time, and it's not like I come out here thinking I'm going to spend hours because I have to get something done. It's like I say after work, I'm going to come out for a half hour, 45 minutes and relax. And tonight I'm going to build trees. I've got some, so I'm going to sit down, play with that a little bit. Then it's like, hey, I got my scope to mold in. So I'm going to do something here. Not have to finish anything major, but just a little bit at a time. And over a week, you can actually get a lot accomplished. It keeps it fun. I'm not to a schedule. I'm not that I got to get this done before, then.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you get that done? You're going to go through layout withdrawal. You're going to have to do something else.
Well, that's what Steve Anderson says. What are you going to do 3 weeks from now, Bill? The layout is done, the second deck on the Hscale?
No, this will go for a lot longer. I've still got finish work to do on the Hscale. I've still got things to do on the HO scale. Even though this stuff, and again, we were talking earlier, looks done, it's nowhere near done. There's lots of details I'm going to add. I'm going to hand plant grass. I've got the static grass applicator, but I'm not going to use it on this because I'm going to do the little clumps and flowers. There's going to be all kinds of things. I won't be done with any of these for at least another year. But I've already got ideas for an N or a Z scale layout to put up in my office on the wall.
It looks pretty done to me.
Yeah,
You're on your own, Bill.
yeah,
You're on
this,
your own
no,
with
I've
the wife on
I've got
that
a
one.
lot yet to do in the areas that are mostly finished. I'll say they're mostly finished, but those areas still lots of details, lots of stuff that I've got to come back in and add. And even like, here where I've got the engines, the track isn't ballasted. It hasn't been painted yet. On this side, I've got work to do. When I get over to this side, this is where there's going to be an active logging camp. I've got all kinds of things that are going to require a lot of detail. And that'll come. And that's what's the fun thing about it for me. I'll be able to run trains even when I'm still doing scenery work. I can be doing active scenery work and I can have trains running through a scene and just enjoy it.
Here's a thought. A nice little Z-scale coffee table layout for your house.
It's possible. I could do that. I've got, I don't have the skills that Jerry has, but buried under some of that material over there is a Shopsmith Mark V with all the attachments, and they all work. And I can use them all. I can build all kinds of stuff. Years ago, I used to keep up with Norm Abrams and the New Yankee Workshop when I was younger. And I had a workshop that was like 3 times the size of my garage. Over the years, I've had to sell all of my stuff because we've moved for work. But I could do that. And that would be kind of fun to do.
All I can say, Bill, is don't look to us to help you defend what you're doing. If you build a 4th layout, there's nothing we can say to your wife that's going to make it okay.
That's okay. She already knows, and she's already resigned herself to that. She's already said, hey, I know when the boy goes to college, you're going to take over his room. And it's like, no, I'm going to take over our room.
So here's a question for the 3 of you. Do your wives give you a hard time? Do your wife? Yours does, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Mine doesn't. Yeah. Mine actually doesn't. She's supportive. She's like, you're crazy. Just go have fun.
Yeah, my wife's kind of the same way. I don't think she realized I was going to build it as big as I did. I think she thought it was going to be a small little layout. And when she said, well, she didn't really okay it. I just took it over.
No,
we weren't using it for anything anyway. So
the only thing I have in common is my wife thinks I'm crazy.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying. That Of course, I always tell her you're the one that said yes. So.
Well, we were talking about that before the show. I mean, she doesn't get this. She does not understand trains, the fascination with it. She thinks it's dumb. They're toys, and you should be spending your time on something more constructive.
And you're retired. Yeah, you're done with constructive by that point. That's what I think anyway. I did all that already.
If you played golf, that would be okay.
No. Well,
she probably wouldn't like that either.
She wouldn't like that either.
Well, basically, she wanted you to keep working.
I
don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He hasn't even told her that we're coming up there this summer yet. So
no, I've been too busy. Well, she's in the middle of getting retired, so
yeah,
she should be done working here another 3 weeks. So that should be interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Roy says you're going to have to. Your wife's going to require you to become friends with her before you will have access to the house. I'm assuming is what he's saying there.
Yeah.
You have to get to know her again, right?
Yeah. Long story. Hello, Roy.
Oh, so anyway.
Hey, Roy.
I had a mail call today. I'll show you what I got in my mail call. I knew this was coming. I ordered this from Colorado Southwest Colorado narrow gauge. Guy I used to get all my tortoises from. You've probably seen these before. This is a little mining detail set from Durango Press, and this is an overhead crane. Get it in there where you can see it without the glare. Also from Durango Press, and they just happened to come yesterday, and they're sitting on the bench.
You need to tell them about your estate sale that you went.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine that I knew in the flying club, in the RC Airplane Club, passed away about a year ago. And I was real good friends with him and his wife. We did a lot of the shows for some of the organizations in town that had kind of like a fair, but it wasn't really a fair. It was just where they would come and show what they did, like 4-H, maybe a 4-H group or something like that. And we'd always come and do a little booth for them. And they were the two that would always volunteer with me to go up there and do that. So we got to become real good friends. Excuse me. Anyway, he passed away about a year ago, and he had gotten out of airplanes too because of his age, and had started doing trains, but he went to Hscale, which I can't, well, I know why he went to Hscale, because this is the only room he had was do Hscale. But he's very meticulous. He was an electrician in the Air Force. And so all his wiring is great. I wish I didn't even do mine. But anyway, his wife called me up the other day and said, can you come get the rest of his airplane stuff and his trains and stuff and find a home for it? So I've got a bunch of that stuff. I'm still kind of going through it. We may give away some of it as contest prizes on here. It is Hscale stuff, so I apologize to the HO guys, but that's all he had was Hscale stuff. Some of it I'm going to try and sell and get some money for her. He's got a small modular layout, but he's got a lot of Mercado track, some bridges, double bridges, and a single bridge, truss bridge that are still in the packages and stuff like that. So
you won't have a hard time selling that.
No, I wouldn't think so. I hate to put it on eBay because eBay charges, so much for it. But
ask the community, asking the community.
Yeah, I'll do that. And I had some of the stuff was DC, some of it was most of it was DCC, but he had a real nice little BLM engine that's got really good sound.
Actually, Claude, there are several Facebook pages, Hscale Yard Sales one that that's what they do is they sell Hscale.
Asking the community first, because that's how I sold all of my stuff that I wanted to get rid of that I wasn't going to use anymore.
Now was that a Broadway Limited that you showed me that had?
It wasn't Broadway Limited yet. It's a Monaco Hscale Broadway Limited, full DCC sound and everything, and it sounds really good.
I couldn't believe the sound on that for Hscale.
Yeah, I was shocked because the first one he's got a little model power engine too, and I don't remember exactly what the wheel arrangement was. I think it's a consolidation. And I blew the whistle on it, and I thought, oh, that sounds awful. It sounded like somebody had bad indigestion or something. It's also DCC in sound, but then I run the BLI after that, and it's like, whoa, that's nice. So it sounded like an HO locomotive with sound. Hscale.
Yeah, usually Hscale doesn't sound all that great. That sounded really good just over the.
So that kind of stuff, I will have to sell probably, because it's it's worth some money. It's worth selling, and I know it'll sell.
Was it any particular road names that he ran? Or
yeah, I think the BLI was Indiana Beltline.
You had one, I think.
Harbor Belt.
Wasn't one New York Central or something?
Yeah, I've got some passenger trains and stuff that were New York Central.
I see Bill's wheels turning right now, man.
Well, I'm always looking to buy.
Yeah, Bill's wheels are turning.
Okay, well, I have to make a list of it all yet. I haven't even done that yet.
Well, I'll tell you, Bill, that Mercado that he showed, that sounded really,
it was nice. Yeah. He's also got. He did these little modules, and I'm not sure what brand they are, but they're pre-cut, and you order them, and then you glue them together, the frames and stuff, and then you put your layout on that. Yeah. And he has some of that. He's got a double oval set up, and already wired with. Well, he's got a Digitrax deal on there, but I mean, it's it's all wired up, ready to go. But he's got some extra pieces of that in a box still. I don't know how many modules are in there.
Probably like T-Track or something.
Yeah, I don't know that it is T-Track because I think T-Track is bigger. These modules are like 2 foot wide by 18 inches.
Okay.
30 inches wide by 18 inches, something like that on the end pieces. Yeah, I have to measure them. I haven't even done that yet. I've just barely found room for it in my shop. So I've got all that stuff sitting in there and I've got to go through it. But I'll make a list and I can bring it on the show. And
Yeah, I was just saying.
If you guys want to buy stuff, I'll be happy to.
Yeah, we'll dedicate a show to your stuff.
I'd much rather sell stuff directly to guys because I can give her more money then. Not that she needs the money, but it was
every little bit helps.
It was hers. So she thought Roy would want, excuse me, she thought he would want it to go somewhere where it's going to be used.
We can do
which is kind of what I feel like it. If I'm going to give something, have something that I'm not going to use anymore, I want it to go to somebody that's actually going to use it. So
we could do a back on track yard sale.
Hey, we could do that. But I'll take pictures and or go out with a camera or something one day and I'll get it set up where we can do that.
Yeah, or just make a video, whatever.
Yeah,
that was easy for you.
And if you do it enough, like a week in advance notice for us, we could advertise it on our channels too and get some additional.
Yeah. Well, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. Now we have a garage sale coming up in the neighborhood, and I was going to put the layout on that just so I didn't have to ship it somewhere.
Yeah.
But if somebody was willing to, think they may want to ship it, I don't know what it would cost. It's several, smaller modules that all go together. It's all Mercado track, wired up, ready to go. And of course, then he's got the Zephyr VCC from Digitrax controller, stuff like that. So that would be good to go with that, but it didn't have to go with that. If you already had all that stuff, you wouldn't need to do that.
Well, don't tell Shannon because he'll buy it all.
Oh, yeah, I'm not shipping it to Shannon. I'm sorry.
And then Steve will have to ship it.
He'll buy everything.
I'm not shipping it to Shannon. There are a couple of locomotives that are torn apart. I'm assuming he was getting ready to put decoders in them. But they're in such disarray. I don't know what goes to what. I don't have any paperwork for them or anything like that. So I don't know if those are even salvageable.
Well, seriously, Shannon does that stuff. So if you could ship them to me and I could ship them to Shannon with the stuff that he's.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I know Nathan DeLay does that sort of thing too, but these are already torn apart. So, and there's lots of parts there. I don't know what goes with what. They were all in a box. But I'm assuming he was getting ready
to put them all together. Yeah. Somebody will buy them.
But there are a few kits, some 3D printed stuff, some other freight cars, rolling stock stuff, passenger cars, and then what else was there?
Sounds like Container Man's interested in your modules. At least he can come by and pick them up.
Yeah, he could come by and get them. Well, I'll get it together and take pictures of it. I won't put it in the yard sale. So it sounds like there's probably enough interest here that I could sell it here. So, and I'd rather sell it here than to the neighborhood because I know what'll happen if I put it in a garage sale. It'll, some kid will get a hold of it and tear it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll do that. I'll get set up, get some pictures of it, and then I'll let you guys know when I'll be ready to do that a week or so ahead, and maybe we can get a pretty good group here and sell that stuff.
That'd be a fun show.
It'd be good. Yeah. I'd like to be able to sell it and take her some money for it. So, because I'm not going to use it. It's all Hscale stuff. There's some tools. In fact, I still got to go back over and pick up a lot of tools, and it's all stuff that I already had, so I didn't need it. But somebody may want them.
That's a nice thing of you to do, Claude.
Yeah, well, we used to do that with the RC stuff. We'd always get, because I was one of the officers in the RC club, so we'd always get calls from widows saying my husband was in this, for 20, 30 years, and I've got a garage full of stuff can you guys use it? And they wouldn't even be looking for money. And we'd go sort through it and find all the good stuff that was worth keeping, because a lot of it was obsolete and nobody's going to want it. But all the good stuff we'd take, and we'd either auction it at the club, or we'd put it on Craigslist or something like that local, and sell it and give them the money for it. So
what's the old saying that when I die, I hope my wife doesn't sell my stuff for what I told her I paid for it?
Exactly. Well, they're not going to do the research to find out what it actually costs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I've got a little bit of experience in this thing, with doing the RC stuff. So it's kind of the same deal. Just try and get what you can for it, and hope it goes somewhere where they're going to use it.
Well, I think that Mercado would look really good on Bill's layout.
There you go. It runs nice. Now, I've only run it on the test track. I haven't put it on the layout. The layout is good, because I don't have it put together. I ain't supposed to put it right at the moment.
If it runs on a test track, it's going to run on a layout.
Yeah, and the test track is not real good shape. I didn't clean it or anything, and it ran on there. So I'm sure it would do well on a layout.
I was just amazed at the sound on that. That was just for Hscale. That sounded really nice.
Yeah, it was nice sounding loco. And I don't know what they cost. Can't imagine it's cheap though. But never, the DCC stuff never is. But I didn't even look up prices or anything, because I haven't had time to go through it all.
Now that's brass, isn't it?
I do not know. It's got, it's fairly hefty, but it's still Hscale, so it's only, this long with the tender on it.
Well, isn't all Broadway Limited stuff brass?
No.
I don't think so, but I don't know, because I've never had any. But,
cheap Chinese plastic.
Cheap Chinese plastic.
Roy, a Monaco is a 282.
Mercado.
Mercado. Yeah, Mercado.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 282. So that's the wheel arrangement on it. But yeah, it's a nice loco.
Actually,
like I say, there's other stuff there.
That's a good pronunciation. Is it decapod or decapod?
Decapod.
Yeah.
Is it Cato or Cato?
Cato or Cato?
Cato.
Potato.
Yeah, whatever.
I think
aluminum or
everybody
aluminium.
knows what you're
No matter
talking
how you
about
pronounce
when
it,
say
people know what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, they all know what you mean anyway. Not what you're saying, but what you mean.
True. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I'll get all that stuff together, get a list of it, and get it laid out where we can kind of show everybody what's there, and figure out some way to get it to people, or not get it to people, but decide who buys it, who doesn't.
Yeah.
Because I got a feeling there will be, some of it's going to be auctioned, evidently. So if there's enough people that want one thing.
There's a method, and I don't know if anybody here watches. Jerry, I know you do. A hobby shop has a sale like every Wednesday night, Caboose Stop Hobbies. So what they do, and just something to consider, is that they'll put like a number next to an item, and then what the price is. And then the first one in chat that says, I want it, they get it. Even if 10 people put in, first one gets it. But
I've seen that.
They know the number, what the number is, 105, whatever. It's easy and it's simple for multiple people. If they want something, they just got to be quick on the chat and put it in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think I've seen that show before. And she walks through and shows what they got, and he's holding
I
the
buy all
camera.
kinds of stuff off that hobby shop. I used to go to that hobby shop every week when I lived in Iowa, and I spent a lot of money there.
Bill, is that hobby shop as cool as it looks?
Yes, it is as cool as it looks.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to be going back to Iowa in a couple of weeks, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm going to ask her to let me do an episode of my, my channel on there. That way I can show the areas that people don't see on the show. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It looks like there's a ton of stuff in there, but
there is.
you literally never
nice
see
low-scale club layout down in the basement, too.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Claude, is Sparky in chat?
I haven't seen him, but I'm not going to say he's not here, because he doesn't always
Okay.
Get on
Because-
it.
Okay.
Because he's
Hang
gonna,
on a
I don't know
second.
if anybody knows, but he's gonna get the Hscale BoxCar, the traveling BoxCar. We're gonna give that to Sparky. He's got it anyway.
Yeah, he's got it. So we're going to let him keep the boxcar. And he's supposed to be sending me the book, though. So the
Yeah.
book will still be going around. And Rusty with Possum
Has it-
Bayou
has
emailed
it-
me yesterday and said it's on the way.
Yeah.
The Hscale one's on the way. So we'll get that back to Shannon or
We figure
whatever's going to
Sparky's
happen from
been
there.
so involved with all the live streams and chat, and he goes back to the beginning of Back on Track and before, so he's probably good one to get that car too.
Yeah, I don't see him in here, but if you're in here, Sparky, speak up. But anyway, yeah, he's done so much for the show in the background, and we decided to let him keep that. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna Chuck. There will be Shannon's gonna make new ones, so we're gonna try it again, I guess. The biggest problem was people that got it weren't timely in getting it back out on the trail. And then it got kind of lost and forgotten about. Somebody set it aside and forget about it. That can't happen if we're going to do it, because it's going to end up like it was this time, 2 years, and everybody's going, "Where's the traveling boxcar?"
Well, and it also had everybody's name signed to the card that isn't even on the show anymore.
Yeah, that was the other reason he's going to redo it. But, well, that was the main reason he's going to redo it. But my feeling is if we're going to do it, it needs to be done properly. And guys that sign up for it, guys or girls sign up for it, make the commitment to, once you get it, you do your video or whatever you want to do and put your stuff in the book and then
And
send
move
it
it
on
on.
to the next person.
Yeah, don't hold on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be diligent with it. Don't forget about it, sit it down somewhere and forget about it.
Yeah, in theory, it was a good idea, but it kind of didn't.
Well, again, yeah, things happen. People
Yeah.
get, life happens. I know how that is.
Well, also we had the pandemic and the lockdowns too that happened after that too, and that contributed to the issues with it.
Yeah, but you can send stuff from home. Get on USPS and do click and ship. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, I sent something out yesterday. So
I know shipping got to be an issue for a while though. So
well, yeah, it can get, and that's something we can't do. But I know a lot of it was guys just not getting it shipped on out.
Unless you're sick and you're dead, they're the only good excuses.
Yeah, it's only ones. That's the only ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming as soon as Shannon gets them made up, and I think he's going to 3D print them.
yeah,
I think that's what he said he wanted to do, is 3D print them, and so he was going to make some more up and get them out. But that'll be down the road. Anyway, we will have the book coming back.
we'll have to have an Oscale one for Bill.
I was going to say, yeah, it would be fun to have something like that put on here. It's,
Yeah.
run it, have some advertising as well, but kind of
Well, you could do the HO one and put it on the 0 and 30 line.
could. Yeah.
Just be a small box car on there.
Yeah.
But it would fit narrow gauge. They're going to be smaller cars anyway, normally.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that much out of scale.
Yeah, I could put Hscale on the HON3. It would be real close. Get the right trucks on it. It would look real close on there. But anyway, okay. Well, we're almost to the end of the hour. But
Anybody got any ideas or questions before we hang up?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let's see what we're seeing. I've been amiss in not watching the chat.
Throw out some suggestions.
Yeah. Steve Anderson never fails to come up with something funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Intestable bomb in the box, but the next person in line knows the combo 2-week timer. You don't get it out, it's going to go off. There you go. That's what we got to have. Allie wants an Hscale one. Oh, she put the HO on the Hscale layout. Okay. There you go. That'll work. Put it on a flat car if you have to.
That's what I did. I put the HO on my Hscale. Two flat cars.
Yeah, but it didn't go into the tunnel, as I remember.
Well, it tried to. It didn't fit.
It tried to till it didn't.
It didn't fit, but it tried.
Okay, well that's the hour, guys. Anyway, yeah, I'll be looking
Good
forward to that list of Hscale stuff, and we'll let you know a couple of weeks ahead of time before we do it, so you're ready. And other than that, have a good week.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for being here. Bill, Steve, Jerry.
See you, everybody.
We'll see everybody later.
See you, everybody.
Later.
Take care.
Bye. See ya.